Okay, here we go. Ready na kayo? Okay. When you're, alright, let's pay attention, okay? Alright. Director's cut. Alright. Let's do it. One, two, action.
Uy, pare! Gusto ka ba rin? Matagal tayo hindi nagkita.
Ay, hindi pa rin nakita.
Wala kita dyan mo pare ah.
Okay lang.
Gusto ka na? Matagal tayo hindi nagkita. Gusto ka na. Oh, ano ba rin? Gusto mo gumamit? Bakit na? Gumamit tayo.
Bago na ako ngayon, pare. Wala pa pa, pare.
Bakit ka ba?
Hindi naman. Bago na ako ngayon. Kainin mo lang, pare. Pero pare, hindi ko balik. Hindi naman. Baka mabalikan niya. Kasi nagkakaroon ako ngayon, pare. Pare, bala ka na dyan. Kainin mo lang.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Toto. Okay, so let's hear from the expert. Hear it from the expert. Ano sa niyo? Okay. Around, more or less around 30 seconds. No? 1 minute and 20? Okay. So the actual conversation. Alright, so more or less about, it was about 30 seconds. Mahaba 30 seconds actually. So, okay, so feedback. Bigyan mo natin sila ng feedback. Okay? Okay, ganon, di ba? Ang usually, hey, okay. So, all right. Any observation about that? Okay.
Gusto ko yung conviction ni Toto na sinabi niya na akainin mo na lang yan. Ibig sabihin talaga decidido talaga siya na ayaw niya na gumamit. And it's a signal for that person to stop pursuing yung ginagawa niya.
Acceptable to say kainin mo na lang. Is that usual? Hindi, no? Okay. All right. Anything? Any other observation? How did Toto handle it? Was it very effective? What was the body language? How was the delivery of the refusal? All of that, no? What do you think?
Well, understandable naman kasi acting. Siguro medyo nahihiya si sir. So, pero kung sa makatotohanan siguro yun po, sir. Medyo hindi po siya resistant sa nag-aaya sa kanya. Kasi medyo low ang tone of voice, kulang sa conviction. But we understand because it's just a role-playing. Pero kung sa makatotohanan, siguro dapat may conviction pa yung pag-say no.
So, ituturo kasi natin to sa ating mga residente, no? Kaya kinikritik natin. Okay, so, more conviction, no? Coming from you. You agree with that observation na wala masyadong conviction yung refuse? Okay. Parang gusto niya pa daw. Hindi naman. Ah, ah, hindi naman. Okay, Doc.
Doon sa tulad na pagkakataon na yun kanina, Dok, pwede bang gawin ni client, Dok, na mag-create ng distance between them saka yung friend?
Yeah, so nasa ano mo yan, nasa body language mo, di ba? If you're inviting him to come closer, di ba? He will come. So if they have not seen each other, the natural impulse there is you have to be a little careful to come close, di ba? Kasi hindi mo naman sa kanila matagal eh. Hindi mo alam what's going on. So, okay. Normally, that would be, it's not gonna be like that, no? Okay. So, what else? Ano pa? What else did you observe? Yung language, yung words na ginamit. What do you think? Was that effective? Do you think in an actual situation that would be effective to really communicate that you are not interested? Ano sa tingin nyo? Okay. Denominate niya yung conversation, right? Narrating, right? Denominate niya yung isang nag-ano, di ba? Almost like overpowering Toto, right? He was overpowering Toto, right? Okay, so, mas malakas yung dating niya, no? So, pag ganoon ang kausap mo, almost like overpowered ka ba? Hindi mo alam ang gagawin mo. Okay, so, you can make it shorter, clearer, right? By just saying, short sentences. Say, and then sinabi niya, oh, nagbago na ako, right? Something like that. So, di ba, is that okay to say that? Nagbago na ako? Is that okay?
Commonly po, Doc, yung sagot ng mga patients namin pag ganun sinasabi niyo sa kanila, anong naiisip niyong i-respond niya sa inyo? Ititis po kami niyan, kuya. Sabi nila, tsura mo, mukha mo, mga ganun po. Pag nagsabi silang, nagbago na ako, kaya ayaw. So, pero, we do prepare also the patients for that scenario pag tinitis sila pag nagsabi silang ganun.
But, you don't have to tell him. You don't have, di ba? What do you think about telling him na nasa rehab ako? Okay ba yan? Sabihin? Hindi, right? No. So you don't want to talk about that kasi that's your own personal business, di ba? Yung nagbago ako, what do you think? Is that okay? Will that, like I said, you just wanna, you're not gonna give any information about where you're at. Di ba? Ano nangyari sa'yo? You just wanna say no. Okay? Okay. So, anong ginamit niyang excuse? Maglalaba pa daw siya. Maglalaba siya, right? Okay, so yung excuse then, is that like really effective to use that? Maglalaba ako? Parang hindi urgent yun, di ba? Okay, kung magbibigay ka ng excuse, make it like an urgent thing. Okay. Urgent. Yung paglalaba, sabi nyo, laba. Mamaya mo na lang gawin yan, no? Ganun sasabihin sa'yo, no? Di ba? Okay. Mamaya mo na lang, ipalaundry mo na lang yan. Okay, ganun. So, di ba? Pero what would be a good urgent thing na will actually make you feel like, okay, may excuse talaga siya na matanggap niya na kasi dati tight sila, di ba? All of a sudden, nagre-refuse siya. So, hindi niya mapaniwalaan na nagsasabi siya ng no. Kasi ang pagkaalam niya, talagang gumagamit ka. Di ba? Ngayon sinasabi, bigyan ko sa'yo, libre lang. Oh. Di ba? Okay. Tapos sasabihin mo, maglalaba ako. Hindi niya matatanggap yun kasi maglalaba ka. Dati, we always go out. No? Ngayon, so, you have to come up with a good reason, right? Okay, so, yung reason, di ba, it's flimsy. No, hindi matibay. Okay, so think of reason, what would be a good reason, to stop the person from badgering you? Think. Okay. Ha? Ano yan? Oh. Okay. May COVID ako. Alright, maybe that will work. Okay. Sabi niya siguro, vaccinated naman ako eh, bakit? No. Okay. So think of, what your residents can do. Yung any urgency ba? Di ba? Okay. And then because that will be very comfortable for your clients to say that. Because remember, I told you, adolescents will be uncomfortable to actually, especially good friends, to refuse. Okay, to refuse. But here, you refuse and they're still okay. Say no, but you still feel okay because your friend, understand. No? Okay. So just think of different emergency. Okay. Yes.
Kasi kung for example na yun ang gusto niyang i-reason out, Doc, na maglalabas siya, pwede niya siguro sabihin kung totoo nga naman na bawang panganak kasi ang asawa ko, ganun. Ako lang ang pwede niya maasahan.
Okay. Okay. So maybe not paglalaba, but something else. So, my wife just gave birth. Okay, I'm buying milk or something. I don't know. Okay, yeah, that's an emergency. Tapos, okay. Although that reason, tapos kung kilala ka niya, wala ka namang girlfriend. Bigla ka na mag-asawa. Hindi mo pa ako inimbita sa kasal mo. Okay, yan medyo, no? Iffy yan. Kasi pag kilala ka niya, alam niya, no? Nagsisinungaling ka. Di ba? Yung talagang wala siyang mabubutas na reason. Okay?
Dok, napansin ko kay Sir Toto, parang kulang nga nung conviction. Tsaka yung eye contact, tsaka yung tone nung voice niya, very relaxed siya kanina na nagre-resist. Parang pag sinabi niya sana ayaw ko! Parang ganun sana. Yung... Okay na yun. At saka, Doc, tip lang, Doc, with regards to resistance sa mga triggers, minsan pag may ayokong gawin, let's say, for example, may naisip akong idea na ayokong gawin, minsan may sinasabi akong mantra sa self ko, and I act out na yung trigger na yun. I treat it as another person in my head. And then, I just tell my mantra against the third person. And then, eventually, mawawala na yung parang trigger sa akin. So, yun lang. Share lang.
So you have to have a strong conviction, right? And then whatever reason na binigay mo, it should be like convincing and urgent. Not think of different ways of communicating that, no? And then yung eye contact, that's a good point, no? Walang eye contact masyado. So you look at your friend and say, I have to go, whatever reason. I have to go. I have an emergency at home. Or my Lola, actually. My Lola needs help. Okay? He's not in a good situation. I have to go. Yeah. So, make it very convincing and firm, sometimes you don't even have to say no, but the communication is a strong no. Di ba? Okay. So, you are saying, no, I cannot do that. Okay. All right.
Doctor, we're just joking around. What if daw yun? Anong pagkakasabi?
Tatay ako. Kadiri ka naman. All right. So, pag ano na magano, I have to go. All right, now, it doesn't have to be like that. There are so many ways. Yeah, many things you can say, right? Okay? It doesn't have to be disgusting like that. That is disgusting excuse.
Lumayo ka sa akin. Nasa watchlist ako ng PIDEA. Binabantayan ako.
Okay. Nasa watch list ako. Yun, talaga. Ako, madadamay ka dyan. Nasa watch list ako. Okay. Alright. Okay, so, alright. Thank you, Toto, and thank you, Raymond, for that role play. Alright. Yeah. You know, yung mga bata, talo kayo ng mga adolescents. So, pag they can come up with some interesting thing. Di ba? Pag tinanong mo sila, they come up with something like, oh, I never thought of that. Yeah. They'll have fun with it. Okay? Okay. After reviewing the basic refusal skills, clients should practice them through role-playing and problem and assertive refusal should be identified and discussed. Okay? Assertive. Di ba? Yun ang kulang eh. To assert yourself. Pick an actual situation. Yan, ginawa na natin yan. Pick an actual situation that occurred recently for a client. Ask client to provide some background on the target person. Okay? Okay, so we did a role play. So, explain to the residents what this is for, right? And once they understand how it is, because they have been in those situations, except they did not say no. Yeah, they have constantly been in those situations. A drug dealer approaches them and say, listen, pwede, gamitin mo muna, saka mo na kabayaran. Di ba? Ganun yun. Saka mo na kabayaran. Oh. Or a friend say, hey, sige, mag-good time tayo. Manood tayo ng sine. Meron akong konti dito. Ganyan. Di ba? Kadalasan, hindi lang sila nag-no. Sabi niya, oh, talaga? Oh, sige. Oh, ganun. Babalik ka rin natin. Ngayon, you're not gonna go along with that. Anong effective, convincing way to refuse your friend and still feel okay with it? They have to be comfortable with what they will do. Okay? Alright, so let them develop the script. Hindi tayo gagawa ng script, kundi sila. There you go. How to say no. Okay? Alright, so let's look at this. This is an interesting thing, no? The preventing abstinence violation effect. So what is abstinence violation effect? Okay, let's look at that. Clients need to know that if they slip and use drugs, gumamit ulit, no, nag-relapse sila o nag-slip, it does not mean that they will return to full-time addiction because karamihan sa kalagayan ng paniniwala, wag ako nag-pick up isang beses, tuloy-tuloy na yan. Okay? Ganon. Many of them believe that. The clinician can help them reframe the drug use event and prevent a lapse in abstinence from turning into a full-blown addiction. Okay, so anong nararamdaman ng residente? Ng tao na tumigil na ng paggagamot. No? Medyo clean na siya for several months. Okay, katulad ng residente natin, no, paglabas nila bago payagan sila lumabas, mga mga more than 6 months sa programa, di ba? So drug-free na sila ng ganung katagal. Okay? So, pag nag-relapse sila, anong mga feelings na natitrigger sa kanila pag gumamit? Just imagine. Or what have you heard from residents? Ano yun? Oh, very strong guilt. Guilt. Okay? Alright. Ano pa? Anong mga feelings involved pag gamit? Pag nag-slip siya, na hindi pa relapse, slip lang. Isang gamit. Okay, guilt. What else? Okay, frustration. How about disappointment? Very strong disappointment, right? Okay, ano pa? Guilt, disappointment. There could be shame. Diba? Shame. A sense of failure. Okay, a sense of failure. I failed. Okay. Now, doubt. He doubt na, talaga ba ako talagang Hindi ko ba talagang kayang magtigil? Okay? Bakit 6 months na, tapos nagbalik pa rin ako? They beat themselves so hard for that, okay? So, to a point na na-depressed na siya. Okay, so, because of that, no, yung abstinence violation effect na nadadramatize o they begin to look at things to the extreme na siguro nga hindi ako pwedeng magtigil, hindi ko kayang magbago, siguro talagang, I'm destined to do this. Yung isang nag-slip lang siya. No? Pero yung takbo ng utak niya, ganun na, katindi na, almost like the end of the world. Yun ang abstinence violation effect. Ang mangyayari because masama masyado yung pakaramdam niya, tutuloy yung paggamit niya. Di ba? O minsan iniisip pa niya, hindi ko talaga kaya magbago siguro. Sige na nga. So lang, gumamit na ako eh. So tuloy ko na lang to. Ganon ang Ganon ang pag-iisip, di ba? Okay. Yun ang tinatawag na abstinence violation effect. Okay, so kapag we catch the slip, no? The first thing we need to do is to process with the client ano yung slip, and we work to prevent that from happening. We prevent that from them thinking that way. Okay? So, if he comes to you or calls you on the phone and say, no, I used, you have to work with him, on that. Yun ang unahin natin. Focus on that one, the abstinence violation effect. Process yung feeling, anong nararamdaman mo. How do you feel that you used? Yun. Diba? Lalabas na yun doon. Disappointed ako sa sarili ko, nahiya ako. Pag nalaman ng parents ko, itingnan naman nila ako na bumalik na naman ako, addict na naman ako. Ganun ang tingin niya sa sarili niya. Addict na naman ako. Di ba? So you have to clarify that. It doesn't mean that because you use one time that you are back to the same way you were before. So that's what it's called reframing. No? Reframing. So sabihin mo, alam mo, ang nakulangan ka lang ng skills, coping skills. It's a coping skills problem. It's not because you're back to being an addict. Okay? Yung coping skills mo lang, nag-fail, no? So, pwede natin remedyohan yan. No? Pwede natin remedyohan. So, focus on what did you learn? Anong nangyari bago ka pumick up? Let's look at that. What was going on? Ano yung state of mind mo? Ano sa tingin mo ang nag-trigger? Ano sa tingin mo ang naging dahilan bakit nag-pick up ka? Okay. So, next time, ano kaya ang dapat mong gawin? Di ba? After telling you, what was going on. So, ano dapat kaya gawin mo na so that pag ito nangyari uli, makakope ka. So that you don't have to pick up. Yun, i-process mo sa kanya. But emphasize the fact na hindi ka bumalik doon sa pagka-addict mo, okay? Okay, you had a lapse. So, alright? Okay, so explore yung guilt. Ano yung guilt? Explore that. Help him understand, that it's not the end of the world. Okay, sabihin mo, people, this has happened to some people. Okay, it's either you continue to use it or you can stop here. Okay? All right. So far, okay? Questions about this? Kind of an interesting thing, right? But you have to understand this. You understand what's abstinence violation effect? Everybody, yan ang pumapasok sa ulo ng ating mga residente pag yan nag-relapse or nag-pick up one time, no? One time. Okay? So, encourage them. Sabihin mo sa kanila, pag nasa labas ka na at saka nag-pick up ka, the first thing you have to do is call whoever your sponsor, okay? Or you can call your counselor, you can call your caseload. That's what you need to do. Do not be by yourself. Do not be by yourself. Call someone na may tiwala ka. So, part of that isa sa mga strategy na ginagawa namin, pag they're already in aftercare, right? Kasi hindi naman tayo always available, di ba? Okay. So, mamaya nangyari yung gabi, late at night, di ba? Mag-hesitate silang tumawag. So, meron silang parang parang card, nandun yung mga listahan ng pag mga attention ng AA, nandoon yung sponsor niya. Tapos nandoon yung mga trusted people. Okay, you start with your family. Sino sa pamilya mo na alam niyo yung problema mo na pwede mo makausap, tawagan. Yun. Sinong kaibigan mo na talagang pinagkakatiwalaan mo na pwede mong kausapin kung may nangyari sa yung ganito, no? So may list siya of people in a wallet, no? O kaya ilagay niya sa iPhone o sa cellphone niya sino yung mga tao na tatawagan niya kapag nangyari to. Okay? So, he has to have that list of people. So, hindi na siya mag-iisip sino ba patawagan ko. Kundi meron na siya. So, yun ang nire-require namin sa kanila. Part of our strategy is for them to have a support system that they can call when this happens. Okay? Okay, so, maliwanag ba? Yeah? Okay, good. All right, so let's move on. Okay, so this is example of reframing. You know, i-reframe natin yung paggamit niya. Kasi catastrophize niya yung paggamit niya. Parang this is the end of the world. Addict na naman ako, something like that. Okay, so I used last night, but I had been sober for 30 days before. So in the past 31 days, I have been sober for 30. That's better than I have done for 10 years. Sabi ng totoo yun. Di ba? Tapos tinapong ko lang. You know, I throw it away. It's been good. Okay, so sabi ng counselor, learning to get sober is just like riding a bicycle. Mistakes will be made. It is important to get back up and keep trying. Di ba? Ganun man yun no? Learning to stay sober is just like riding a bicycle. Or writing with your learning to write with your left hand. Right? Learning to write with your left hand. In other words, you cannot be perfect right away. It requires practice for you to really get it. Okay? All right. So that's how you respond. Reframing. You reframe it very well. It's just like riding a bicycle. So how else will you reframe? Okay? Let's practice reframing. That's actually a favorite CBT strategy. Reframing. Very effective in one-on-one counseling also. Okay? So, somebody relapse, pick up, and he feels very bad. How will you reframe that lapse? We're not talking about relapse yet. We're talking about lapse. How are you going to reframe that he picked up? Do you understand reframing, guys? You understand? Okay, Ivan, help me. How do you explain reframing in a simple way?
It's like changing the perspective of the person with what happened. For example, yung patient nagsabi na, let me think, Kuya, parang hindi ko talaga kaya kasi tingnan mo, una ko palang labas. Na-tempt na ako agad gumamit. Buti na lang may tumawag sa akin kaya hindi natuloy. Siguro parang hindi ko kaya kung walang tumawag, hindi ko siguro kaya. So parang negative yung perception niya. Now the challenge there is how to reframe it. Maybe I would say relating to that, the things that you've learned inside are let me say, are skills. So yung mga skills, kailangang i-practice lagi para maging perfect. So ikaw, kakalabas mo lang, you're still practicing, but you actually did it because you did not give in.
All right. So, what if somebody really how do you reframe that behavior? In a way that he will prevent it from escalating it. You follow what I'm saying? Kasi ang tendency nila gumamit, nag-lapse, but in their mind, they already go back to their old ways, right? ini-escalate nila yung event na yun. Okay, how do you reframe that so that it will, he'll look at it differently. Sabi nga ni Ivan, have a different perspective. Paano? Give me some example of reframing the behavior. Anyone? You?
Yun nga, parang, it's good na, na kinonfess mo sa akin yan, na sinabi mong nakagamit ka ulit. Siguro, hindi yan pagkakamali na ano mo, kundi, medyo nakulangan ka lang ng coping skills. Siguro ganito yung, ano pa kaya ang mga kailangan nating pag-usapan sa coping skills mo? Parang,
Okay. That's good. Anyone else? Reframing it. Reframing the lapse.
Halimbawa, Doc, gumamit siya tapos hindi niya napigilan. Siguro ang sasabihin ko, push mo yan. Joke lang. Wag kang mag-alala kasi normal naman yan. Normal yan bilang since addict ka nga dati. Ay, ganun ba yun? Nag-label. Hindi naman. Sige, erase. Do not be guilty about it. Instead, make things para ma-overcome mo siya next time. Don't feel na hindi mo na siya kayang gawin.
You're counseling. You're not reframing, right? So, you look at what happened and then, okay, siya, ang take niya doon is catastrophe. Okay? Catastrophe. So, you're trying to, ang reframing would be to look at it not as a catastrophe. Okay, so how are you gonna communicate that? That's the reframing. Okay, anyone? Yes, Dr. M.
Ang abstinence ay, naiintindihan ko na nagigilty ka ngayon. Pero yung abstinence kasi o sobriety, kailangan ng skills yan. Halimbawa, sa pagluluto, kailangan araw-araw mong pinapractice. May times din kahit gaano ka nakagaling, nagiging maalat siya. O kaya nasosobrahan sa tamis, nagkakamali ka. Parang ganun din sa addiction. May times na madadapa ka, magkakamali ka, pero hindi ibig sabihin na yun na yung end. Mag-practice ka ulit na hindi na balikan.
Alright, so you tell him it's a deficit in learning. Nagkulang ka lang ng matutunan. Okay, right? So, matututunan mo rin yung ano dapat gawin the more you stay drug-free. Okay? So, you can also say, how many years? It took you years to develop or have this drug-using lifestyle, di ba? That's a long time. Di ba? It took years. Itong pagbabago mo to learn to give up using drugs and stay drug-free, that's also, it takes time, right? To get used to it. Di ba? Okay, so kulang ka lang ng experience pa. Kulang ka ng experience. But habang tumatagal, yung pagiging sober mo at saka abstinent, more and more matututunan mo rin yan. Di ba? Okay. So, wag mo sabihin normal to. Okay? You do not normalize lapse. Pag sinabi mong normal, normal pala yun. No. Don't say that. It's not appropriate to say that it's normal. Okay? Although it's common, that's what you mean. It's common, but it's not normal. Okay. Anything else? Did you get the idea of reframing? Did you get the idea of abstinence violation effect? Mahalaga to, no? Mahalaga to. Because if you can learn to intervene there and minimize the abstinence violation effect, that client is less likely to escalate his drug use. Di ba sabi natin, pag nag-lapse, ang ating objective is to prevent that person from continuing the drug use. Okay? And really relapse to the drug again. Okay. So far, okay? Okay, good. All right. Immediate determinants of relapse. Anong ibig sabihin noon? Ang kadalasang dahilan ng pag-relapse. Kadalasang dahilan ng pag-relapse. Okay? Common, immediate, reason. Ang kadalasang dahilan. Negative emotional states. Ano ang ibig sabihin ng negative emotional states? Ang nararamdaman niya, negatibo. Di ba? Negatibo siya. Ano ang dahilan ng pagka-negatibo? Negative emotions, right? Ano yung mga negative emotions? Galit, resentment, guilt, lungkot. Di ba? Okay, negative lahat yun, di ba? Okay, so yung mga nararamdaman na ganoon, pwedeng maging dahilan yan ng paggagamit uli. Okay? Alright, next is interpersonal conflict. No? Ano yung ibig sabihin nun? Interpersonal conflict. Nag-away. Meron siyang nakaaway. Okay? Okay, so, kasing pag-aaway na yun nakaka-trigger ng negative emotions, correct? Usually, anger, frustration, resentment, di ba? Okay. So, ang interpersonal, may ibig sabihin nun, yung tao na kadalasan malapit sa'yo. Nag-away kayong dalawa. Na naka-trigger sa iyo yun. Okay? Okay. So, yes, interpersonal conflicts. Minsan, pag naka-away mo, yung close sa'yo, alam niya yung buhay mo dati, ibabato sa mukha mo. Di ba? Ibabato sa'yo na, balik ka na naman sa bisyo mo, galing ate ka na naman. Ako, masakit yun, di ba? So, that can be very triggering for anyone. Okay? Next, social pressure. Sa adolescent, yan ang number one halos, ang social pressure. Okay? Alright, they want to be accepted, they want to be, with their friends. Okay? Make their friends happy. Okay? Sa atin, sa mga adults, nandiyan din yung social pressure. Di ba? Kaibigan mo, best friend mo. No? Okay? Alright. Positive emotional states. Positive emotional states. Okay? Birthdays, mga occasion na gano'n. Nagse-celebrate, no? Holiday, Christmas. Okay? New Year. Or going to a party. Di ba? Saya ka. Okay? So, excited ka. Okay, so even positive emotions, di ba, can be triggered. Di ba, sabi ko sa inyo kasi, yan, problem of emotional regulation yan. Okay? Okay, next is coping. Okay? Ang coping, skills niya is very minimal. Okay? They don't know how to handle feelings, emotions. Okay? Okay, so lack of coping skills. Yung bang ating mga residente, mga magagaling sa coping skills? O walang alam sa coping skills? Sa tingin nyo? Meron, pero kulang, di ba? Especially related sa drugs. Hindi masyado silang knowledgeable coping skills. Kadalasan pa nga, hindi nila alam ano yung coping skills. So, turo mo sa kanila, ano ba ang coping skills? Okay, ano yung mga skills to cope? Turo nyo sa kanila. So, we'll go over some of those skills, right? Okay, we did some. Okay, so then abstinence violation effect. Immediate determinants of relapse. So, we're talking about relapse, not lapse, no? So, somebody picks up, and then yung abstinence violation effect takes over, very likely mag-relapse yan. In other words, to continue using. Okay, covert antecedents of high-risk situation. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Covert antecedents of high-risk situation. Yung hindi ka aware, no? Na meron na palang na-trigger na parang high-risk situations. Covert, hindi ka aware or under the radar. Yung mga lifestyle factors, pwede ba yun? Pwede ba yun maging yung the way you live, right? Your lifestyle? Okay, ano yung mga lifestyle na can contribute to drug use? Okay, yung you don't take care of yourself, right? Okay. Lifestyle factors, yung overextend yourself. You understand by overextend yourself? Yung mga iba, medyo hero, gusto maging bayani, okay? Yes nang yes, trabaho, kahit na alam mo, burnout ka na. Okay, because you cannot say no. Okay? Alright, so you've got to actually kind of know your limits too. And also taking care of yourself. Okay? Ibig sabihin nun, hindi balance yung lifestyle mo. Okay? Sinasabi ko nga, you have to have a life. If you work in this program, you have to have a life. You understand what that means? To have a life? In other words, meron ka pang may ibang buhay ka pa beside dun sa sa trabaho mo. Okay, ano yung mga buhay mo na bigid sa trabaho? Meron kang pamilya, di ba? Oh. Meron kang, let's say if you're married, you have your wife, you have your children. That's your other family. Okay? Kailangan may time ka ibibigay sa kanila, okay? As you are giving time to your work. So, balansahin mo. Now, kung wala kang asawa, meron ka pa rin life. Di ba? You have friends. May hobbies ka. Di ba? May mga hilig ka. Okay, mahalaga yun. Keep those. Okay? Alright. Have an interest, no? A hobby. Something that you are passionate about. Whatever it is. It could be exercise. You have friends who like to run or hike, climb mountains. Yeah. Right? Yeah. You can even have a group here now. Okay. Let's climb the hill. Okay. Now, yung bisyo, hindi ano yun, ha? Hindi kasama yung bisyo. Okay. Alright, no, seriously. Sports, exercise, yung mga running club, hiking club, musical group. Musical group. Yeah. Musical group. Yung, di ba? Ang dami yung magagawa. Meron dapat kayong karaoke day. Karaoke day. Okay. Okay. You got it, right? You got it. Okay, stress level is another one. Alam mo dapat kung na-stress ka na, no? How do you know you're stressed, by the way? Ano mga indicators ng stress? Alright. Masungit na daw. Sumusungit na, pwedeng na-stress out ka na, di ba? Posible yun. Di ba? Bigla ka nang naging sumpungin. Okay, mainit na ulo. Di ba? Stress na yun, ibig sabihin nun, di ba? Mainitin ang ulo. Okay? Wala ka ng pasensya. Ano pa? Naninigaw na daw. Naninigaw. Okay. Iba yung wala ng pera. Hindi yung magkaka-relapse ako sa inyo. Mali yung mga sagot nyo. Okay? Okay, nakuha nyo. Okay, hobbies. Magkaroon ka ng hobbies. Okay, you know why? Di ba very stressful yung trabaho natin, di ba? Totoo yan. Very stressful yung trabaho natin. So, you have to have an outlet. You have to have an outlet. A positive outlet. Diversion daw. Positive outlet, no? Why? Kung may outlet ka, yung mga negative energies mo na absorb, from your negative clients, di ba? Doon mo na, ano yun, na dissipate. Kailangan may outlet ka for those things, okay? Kung Jelen, puro dancing na. Napunta na sila. Napunta na. Maganda yan. Ballroom dancing, baka marami diyang mahilig. Okay, whatever it is, a new hobby, learn something different. Okay, learn a new hobby. All right. Nako, you're taking me somewhere else, okay? You're stressing me out. Okay. Okay. All right, next. Listen. Shh. Naku. Listen, next. Cognitive factors, yung rationalization, denial, desire for immediate gratification, no? Yung hindi makahintay. Di ba? Impulsiveness, no? Yan. Hindi nag-iisip ba? Okay? So, isipin mo yung mga residente, no? Na kung ano yung naisip, gagawin na kaagad. Not good. Okay. Apparent irrelevant decision. This is interesting. Okay, listen. What does that mean? What does that mean? Apparently irrelevant decisions. How is that related to high-risk situation? Apparently irrelevant. Okay, ibig sabihin nun, gumawa siya ng decision, no? Na something na akala niya, hindi naman talaga related to sa aking recovery o my effort to stay drug-free. Eh, yung pala, unconsciously, no? That situation could lead to something else. Ito na parang unconscious setting up yourself. Nandiyan mo, you're unconsciously setting up yourself. Yan, that's what I mean. Apparently irrelevant decisions. When actually, that is relevant dun sa recovery mo. I'll give you another example. Let's say, example, right? You have a girlfriend before, recovering ka. Alam mo yung girlfriend mo yun, when you were together, you were smoking pot at the same time. The two of you, part of your routine, mag-smoke. Pumasok ka sa rehab, di ba? Pumasok sa rehab, yung girlfriend mo, nakalimutan mo na. Okay? Kasi, ang relationship nyo naman doon na sa paggagamot, no? Okay. So, bigla ka ngayon nasa recovery na. And one time, punta ka sa mall, nakita mo siya. Okay? Nag-usap kayo, maya-maya, nagpalit na kayo ng telepono. So, sabi mo ngayon, telepono lang naman yan. Di ba? Nagkita lang kami, pero okay lang yun, kasi friend ko siya dati. Pero nagpalit kami ng telepono. Di ba? It looks like it's not really irrelevant, no? Hindi naman kayo magde-date, telepono lang. But before you know it, tinatawagan ka niya na. Okay. Alam mo yun, na ganun mauwi yun, no? Pero unconscious lang ba yung ano mo? Isa sa isip mo, hindi man, it's just telephone number. It sounds irrelevant. And then one day, tumawag sa'yo, and you are not in a good space. Sabi niya, manood tayo ng sine. Manood ng sine. Okay? So sabi niya, sa isip mo, okay lang. Cinema, exactly. Cinema lang eh. Okay, so before you know it, she's smoking pot. And by that time, you feel something again towards her. Bumalik yung yung nararamdaman mo sa kanya, and you ignore completely the fact that she's smoking pot. It all started from exchanging telephone numbers. That's what that means. Apparently irrelevant decisions. Okay? Okay, next. Urges and cravings. Definitely, those are high-risk situations. Yung tuloy-tuloy ba yung urges mo, balik-balik, no? You try to fight it off, Tapos, na naman, may urge ka na naman. Okay, so, if that happens to your client, encourage your client to explore that with you and talk about it. If you dig deeper, there is something going on. Right? Something must be going on that is triggering those urges and cravings. Malamang na-expose siya sa mga triggers, no? It could be people, places, and things. It could be like, hey, he discovered something at home. May natira pa pala doon sa kanyang ginagamit dati. Madalas mangyari yan. No? Nagtago ng drugs, nakalimutan niya. Meron pa pala doon. And all of a sudden, naglilinis siya. Nako, na-discover niya. Okay? Okay. So, nakuha niya, hindi niya alam kung itatapon or what. Okay. So, that is not good, right? Because that will keep coming back to him. What if I use a little bit? What if this? What if that? Before you know it, sayang naman itapon eh. Ganun mangyayari. Okay? Alright. So, there is always a reason why, that urges and craving keeps coming back. So, you explore that with a client. There is a reason for that. Okay? Look at yung environmental. Okay? Ano yung environment, what's going on, what he's doing, how he's leading his life. Okay? Who are people around him. Very likely, something is stressing him out and he's not even aware of it. That's why he keeps having that urges and cravings. Got it? All right, cool. Okay, specific interventions. Okay, actual intervention, identify and coping with high-risk situations. First, you have to find out ano ang high-risk situations, ano yung mga list of high-risk situations, and then personalize it. Individualize it. Ano ang high-risk situation mo? Okay? Ano ang high-risk situation mo na nagtitrigger sa iyo to keep eating? High-risk situation.
Sumasama akong lumabas, Doc. With friends.
Okay, being with friends to go out and eat. Okay. Going out with your friends to eat. Okay, ano pa? Ano pa ang common na training? Training, oh my goodness, guys. All right. Okay. Ano sa training ang nakaka-trigger sa iyo? Ah? Okay. So you have to find out, no? Ano yung mga high-risk situations mo? Okay, so individualize it, right? Kasi yung iba-ibang tao, iba-iba din ang kanilang high-risk situation. So, minsan hindi nila alam kung ano yun until they pick up. When they have the lapse and then you review what happened, then, it becomes clear na yung high-risk situations nandoon. And then, ang gawin nyo, habang nandito pa sila, tanungin mo, nung naggagamot ka, ano yung mga triggers mo? Ano yung mga high-risk situation? Anong mga sitwasyon na you are likely to use drugs? Ask them. And then you'll be able to help him identify ano yung mga high-risk situation. A lot of times, mga social situation, di ba? Parties, sasabihin niya. Parties. Okay. Being around with friends who are using. Yan. Okay. Or watching a movie with my girlfriend. Or with my friend. Yung mga high-risk situations. Those are the situations that the person is likely to use. Okay? Alright, so mahalagang ma-identify yon, no? Okay, because he has to learn how to cope with those things. So, how will you cope, when you find yourself with your friends? Hindi mo iwasan yan, nasa labas ka na, di ba? Okay, and you are in a social setting, there is a party, how will you cope with some of those situations? What skills do you need to develop to cope with those situations, social situations? Okay? In enhancing self-efficacy, coping, and social skills. Remember, yung self-efficacy, being confident that you can handle a situation. Diba? Self-efficacy. You will develop your competency or your self-efficacy by really mastering yung mga coping skills. Okay? So if you, like, how do you regulate yourself, for example? Little things, no? How do you regulate yourself? Knowing, grounding. Do you know you can ground without in your mind? Okay, so I'm stressed out. Let me ground. Okay, you begin to think about, okay, different things. So what are my favorite music? You're grounding. My favorite music and artists are okay. That's grounding. You're thinking about something, no? Na stress ka. That's grounding. Okay, so it's called mental grounding. Mental ground. There is such thing as mental grounding. So thinking of favorite things, favorite food, okay, favorite music, that is mental grounding. All right. So learn grounding, that you can actually rely on or use when you are actually stressed out or in a high risk situation. So self-efficacy, the more you develop those skills, the more they become confident that they can actually deal with different situations when they arise. Okay? Eliminating myth and placebo effects. All right. You need psychoeducation in this one. You know what's the myth about alcohol? Myth. Ibig sabihin yung paniniwala na hindi naman pala totoo. Ano yung usual thing ng alcohol? Naniwala ang mga tao. Placebo effect. Okay. Yung nagpapalakas daw ng loob. Totoo ba yun? Nagpapalakas ba talaga ng loob yun? Okay. Nawawala kasing inhibition. So, you break it down for them. It's really nawawala yung pag tinagalog natin yun, nawawala ka, nagiging walang hiya ka. Nagiging kang walang hiya. No, ibig sabihin yung pagka reserve mo, no? Di ba? Nawawala. Okay, nagiging verbal ka. Okay? Yun ang no? Placebo effect. Kasi hindi naman, okay, so, yun temporary lang yun. No? Maya-maya, iba na. No? If you keep drinking, wala na yun mamaya. No? Mamaya, mangyayari, amnesia na ang mangyayari. Okay? If you overdo it, mangyayari yan, yung pala, no? You look so embarrassing, in-embarrass mo sarili mo. Pero hindi mo maalala, sinabi lang ng mga kaibigan mo. Alam mo ba, nagsayaw-sayaw ka doon sa taas ng lamesa? Di ba? Pero sabi mo, talaga, hindi mo maalala. Okay? Maraming gano'n, no? Kaya hindi yung mga yung mga negative effects ng alcohol, no, hindi nila matandaan kasi paglasing na sila, wala nang memory. Ang naalaala lang nila na masarap ang pakiramdam nila. Sa simula, they feel confident, they're very social, and then after that, there is no more memory. Okay? Yung pala, okay? They did something ridiculous already, right? Hindi niya maalala yun. Yun ang ng alcohol. Kaya ang hirap sabihin na ang alcohol masama sa iyo. Kasi sabi mo, bakit masama? Maganda nga pakiramdam ng paglasing. Hindi mo maalala yung mga ginawa mo na nakakahiya. They don't have any memory of that. Okay. Alright. So, natuturo lang natin yun sa ating psychoeducation, no? Okay? Okay, so maraming silang paniniwala na mali. Okay? We correct that about alcohol, about drugs. Okay. Lapse management. Okay, very important, right? Okay, so nag-relapse ka. Not relapse. Nag-lapse ka. You pick up one time. What are the first things that you have to do? So he has to have a plan. Correct? He has to have a plan. So ask him, what is your plan? So let them develop a plan to arrest or manage a lapse. Okay? So part yan ng counseling nyo sa kanya. kailangan meron siyang plan to manage a lapse. Okay. And then cognitive restructuring. Yes.
Good afternoon, family. Share ko lang po ulit doon sa lapse management. Lagi po naming pinapaalala or nile-lecture, tinuturo sa mga outpatient and aftercare clients yung connection between ba yun, Kuya Justin? Craving and use. So, yung client kapag nag-crave, laging associated yan ng thought. So, eventually, magli-lead yung thought na yun into use. So, thoughts, craving, and use. So, lagi namin sinasabi sa kanila na bago pa man mag-lead sa cravings yung thoughts na yun, dapat alam na nilang i-manage or i-cut para hindi po mag-lead into this one, yung lapse po.
Okay. Alright, so, yung what does that mean? Cognitive restructuring. What does that mean? Cognitive restructuring. Huh? Okay, babaguhin natin yung mga paniniwala nila na mali. Okay, marami, or sinasabi natin erroneous thinking. We'll talk about that, no? Ano yung mga erroneous thinking? Di ba? Okay, marami yun. Faulty thinking, kung tawagin, no? Sa cognitive behavioral therapy. Okay? Or erroneous thinking, or faulty thinking. Alright. So, yun ang target ng cognitive restructuring. Na baguhin yung maling paniniwala. Okay? Marami yan. Maraming involved na maling paniniwala. Hindi lang ating mga residente, kahit tayo. May mga paniniwala tayo na hindi naman talaga totoo. No? And sometimes, yung mga paniniwala na yun, pag, alam we suffer some setbacks or a crisis in our relationship or in our life, yun, nag-amplify dun yun sa ating mga negative feelings kasi because of that erroneous thinking. So, we need to restructure. Restructuring is really dismantling those wrong thinking. Di ba? Alright. It's one of the skills that they need to learn. They need to learn, okay? And also, for us to learn, because we could actually help clients, restructure their thinking, right? Challenge their negative or faulty beliefs. Okay, next is global lifestyle self-control strategies, balanced lifestyle and positive addiction. Okay, this is about developing, interests in your life, that would actually lead you away from abusing substances, particularly our client. So we look at their lifestyle, balance pang lifestyle mo. Okay? Do you have time, for example, we look at their schedule, right? I told you, develop their structure. Look at what is your time for work or school, and what are the things that you actually do other than work and school that are enjoyable, that you find interesting for you. Okay, hindi lang puro recovery, attending meetings, di ba, counseling, but balance it with some other things that will really, that makes you happy or interested. Okay, so that's balanced lifestyle. Stimulus control techniques. I think we talk about that, right? Making sure that your environment doesn't have anything that can trigger thoughts of using or trigger cravings. Okay, so nandiyan na yung tanggalin mo na yung mga paraphernalia mo, anything that reminds you. Hindi lang paraphernalia. Alam mo ang mga nasa kwarto nila, yung mga residente, I bet you, may mga poster sila doon na negatibo, right? Yeah, meron yan. May poster yan doon. Tapos meron silang mga souvenir. May mga souvenir pa yan. Okay, may t-shirt yan. Announcing it. So, when you talk to them and say, stimulus control techniques, you can talk about those kind of things. Ano yung nasa bahay mo na kumbaga sa ano reminds you about your past life. Okay. Di ba? Oh, mga posters, simula doon. You have any posters at home? Okay. Do you have any like souvenir at home related to drug use? Okay. Or do you have any paraphernalia that you're still keeping, like a pipe? Okay. Go over that. Go over those things because pag sinabi na stimulus control, wala dapat malinis dapat yung ano. In fact, sinasabi ko sa mga residente, pag uwi mo, rearrange mo yung kwarto mo. Rearrange mo yung kwarto mo. Okay? So, go over yung mga damit mo, mga gamit mo, and make sure that you get rid of things that remind you about your life before. Just rearranging the room gives you a different, di ba, pagpasok mo doon, iba. Kasi pag yung room mo, pareho pa rin, pagpasok mo, maalala mo yung mga days na drug-using days mo, di ba? Oh, it comes back to you. Eh, yun. Ano na yun? Trigger na yun. Di ba? Mahiga ka doon. Ako. Nung nahiga ako dito dati, I was getting high. I was smoking. Okay? So, redecorate your room. Di ba? Ibahin mo yung pagkakaayos ng kwarto mo para bagong scenery naman. Right? Does that make sense? Those little things, those little things will help your clients. Okay? Sanitize your environment, in other words. Dapat wala doon magpapaalaala sa iyo ng paggamit ng drugs. That's what stimulus control techniques means. Start from their bedroom. Right? Kasi they spend a lot of time in that bedroom. You know that, right? Yes. Yes. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah, very simple, right? Just helping them do that. Okay, urge management techniques. May mga maraming technique yan. Urge. How do you manage urge? Oh, I want to get high. What do you do? What do you do? I want to get high. So bad. I miss the feeling or something. So how do you manage that urge to use? Okay. All right. Okay, distract yourself. What else? Maraming mga mind games that you can actually develop. Kind of a mind games to get you out of that situation. Okay? Urge. Other people would say, when I have that urge, I start running. Yeah. I change my shoes, put on my running shoes. Okay, I'm ready to run. And after I run for a good 1 hour run, it's gone. The best is actually, if you can do that, running or exercising, because anong nangyari? Your body secretes also other substances that makes you feel good. Right? Okay, so then the urge is gone. Okay. So those are some of the techniques. Or some people, okay, I'll listen to my music. No, not that kind of music. Listen to not drug-related music, but good music. Jazz, for example, listen to jazz. Anything that actually is soothing music for you. Calm down, right? Get your amygdala to calm down. All right? Okay, what else? What are some of things that they can actually use to handle urges? Okay, relaxation technique. Okay, relaxation technique. Meditation, if they know how to do that. Okay, yoga, exercising, working out, running, bicycling. Right? Ang dami na magagawa. It has to be active, no? Either it causes your brain to actually get activated, okay? The best is actually a physical exercise. Yeah. Okay. All right. Playing sports, yes. Basketball. All right, next is relapse roadmaps. Okay. What is relapse roadmaps? Okay, so what contributes to your relapse? What are, usually how does it start? How does it escalate? Right? Okay. The stages of recovery by De Leon. All right, this is another guy. This is a guy who wrote a book on TC De Leon. George De Leon. George De Leon is still alive. He wrote Therapeutic Community Research something. It's a very popular book in the U.S. It's orange. All right, De Leon. Okay, in his model, it says there denial, first states, right? Active abuse and or associated problem. Okay, next is ambivalence, thinking twice about recovery. That's the next stage. And then motivation. First, extrinsic motivation, external reason for change. It could be anything, it could be, I need to actually change because my children, I need to pay attention to my children, take care of them. Those are external reasons. My finances is not getting any better. Okay, extrinsic motivation. All right, some recognition and acceptance of drug use associated with problems. So, but it's external, but attributed to external influences and not seen as reasons for seeking change. All right, those are external, not external reason. Then intrinsic motivation coming from the person. My health is not getting any better. I'm getting old. Intrinsic motivation, right? Okay. Next is readiness for change, according to him. Willingness to seek change options which are not treatment related. It's change options, but not treatment related. Okay, next is readiness for treatment, rejection of all other options for change except treatment. In other words, recognition that he needs to go into some kind of formal treatment, no? Okay, therapy or residential or outpatient. Next is the addiction, detachment from active drug use, pharmacological and behavioral detoxification, giving up all substances, complete abstinence from substances. Abstinence, stabilized drug freedom for a continuous period of time, usually behind the individual longest historical period of drug freedom. So abstinence means there is an extended period of time that the person has been drug free. Okay? Not 1 day, not 2 days, not 1 week, but a significant amount of time. Okay? And then continuance, maintenance in stages of change, maintenance stage. Things that he needs to do. Okay? His commitment to stay drug free. Okay? And then adjustment of his behavior, thinking, his values. Okay, adjustment of those things to be congruent with his new lifestyle, which is being drug free. Staying away from negative friends, staying away from criminal activities like using drugs, right? Okay, and having new values, that's part of that. And then integration and identity change. Big time, right? Identity change. When I work with clients, I said, how are you gonna actually, how do you call that? Come up with a new image of yourself when you leave from this program. Yeah, diba? It's almost like you have to change who you are, right? From the way you were before to a new person. That's what that means. Okay, a new identity change. De Leon believes in that actually you have to form a new identity. How do you form a new identity? That's why, he's big on go back to school. Go back to school. And then choose a profession, right? And then go back to school. that hopefully becomes the beginning of a new identity. You understand? So you're rebuilding yourself. Basically, that's what it is. Rebuilding yourself, forming a new person, a different person. Okay? And then to me, one of the stages when your clients are ready for it, like they're ready to go out, look at their finances, right? So this is what I tell them. Invest on yourself. Okay, you're in recovery. Start investing on yourself. So how do you invest in yourself? Very simple. Okay, first is learn new skills. Okay, go back to school, earn a degree. Okay, that's investing on yourself. Kahit na part-time lang, part-time students, invest on yourself. And if you are working, set aside some amount of money, even though small. Save some money. Save some money. And then if you can afford it, buy things that make you happy. Right? Some people would say, what makes you happy? Listening to nice music. Okay, I want to invest in a nice iPhone or something like that. Okay? I like to listen to music. So buy whatever gadgets can help you do that. Yeah, invest your money on those things if you can afford it. Save, okay, buy things, material things, whatever it is. Clothes, nice shoes. You can invest on those things, right? Okay, why? What happens if you invest a lot on yourself? Education, invest on a new relationship, right? Have new clothes, okay? Some gadgets that you love. Okay, why? Because next time you get triggered and you want to pick up, you will think twice and say, if I pick up all of these things, okay, we're going to go to waste. It's going to go to waste. I end up selling all of this, okay? I'm going to drop out in school, right? And then probably I will sell my clothes. And I love these things right now. You got the point? It's just a simple thing, right? Manage your money, and then you have some money in the bank, right? And that money too will be gone. Okay, so now you're attached to those things. That's okay. That's what we need, a new attachment. You're diverting your attachment to drugs to something else, right? So now, there is, you have deterrence, I call that. Deterrence. You'll think twice to really throw away your recovery, your sobriety, because you have a lot to lose. Now, think of this, the opposite. If the person has nothing to lose at all, he had no investment in himself, nothing, what would make him stop from using? Huh? He doesn't have to lose anything. Nothing that he could lose. So I always tell my clients, they're back to school, they're working. I said, save some money, set aside money, make that bank account grow, buy the things that makes you happy. It's okay. Stay in your school. They're less likely. And at the same time, they're being socialized. They're being socialized. And now they know how to manage the money. Managing his finances. Managing his time. Right? Now he is really into it. That is recovery. To stop using drugs is not enough. Believe me, that's not enough to keep people straight. You know that, right? It's not enough. There got to be major consequences if he goes back. And the consequences are things that he built up himself. Right? Not from someone else giving him as a gift. Something that he worked for. Something that he invested his time, efforts, and money. Does that make sense? Yeah? Remember, if they have nothing to lose, they are likely to go back. So we encourage our residents, okay, form a positive relationship with people. Make sure that that person is not on drugs. Build yourself, right? Invest in yourself. because that will also increase your sense of efficacy. You are a little bit more confident, no? When you're in school, right? You have a little money, right? Okay, so very simple, right? Yeah, so it's not, listen, not enough to stop using drugs. That's not enough to prevent them from going back. Okay, is this difficult to teach our client? In fact, we can begin that when they begin to actually go on aftercare, right? Or even before aftercare, right? Begin, plant the seed, and then in their aftercare, you work with them on that. Besides all of that good stuff that we're teaching them about, coping skills and all of that, right? That and what I'm telling you. Okay? Does that make sense? Yes? No? Easy to do, right? Yeah. We just have to do it. Okay. Yeah, the new identity is very important. That will take them away from how they lived before. A new person. Rebuilding the person, right? That's real rehabilitation. Okay. High risk situations for relapse. Okay, those are high risk situations for relapse. Anger expression problems. Cannot express anger. No. Doesn't the encounter group has a role in this one? Teaching them how to express their negative feelings appropriately without acting out. Guys, that's our purpose for the encounter group. Learning how to manage their emotions. Negative emotions cannot be prevented, right? It's normal. The difference between you, them, and many of us is we are all well regulated. You understand? When we get angry, it doesn't get out of hand. When they get angry, it always gets out of hand, right? Okay. Because they are not well regulated. Okay? All right. So, how do we actually teach them to regulate themselves? What very effective way? The encounter group. Why? In the encounter group, you have to postpone the expression of your anger because we have scheduled days for encounter group. Before that happens, you just have to learn how to control how you feel. That's training. Right? Training. Okay? Training to find ways to control themselves, their anger. Okay? And then be able to express it appropriately during the encounter group, the right time for it. Okay? Okay. So, anxiety is another one. Common high-risk factors. Some people have severe anxiety, and drugs is an effective medication to control anxiety. Unfortunately, there are adverse consequences for using drugs to control your anxiety. Boredom or lack of constructive leisure interest. Getting bored all the time because he lacks outlets, other interests. Remember, expand their interest. The same thing, when I told you, invest on yourself, he will be into different things, right? Different activities. Investing in your health, for example, right? Getting more exercise. Denial, I don't have drug. Number one, if people actually say, oh, I don't have any problem, what that means is I can continue what I'm doing because it's not a problem. That's okay. Denial. Depression, definitely. If you're not feeling good about yourself, very likely you'll use drugs. Do you know there is actually a study done? I'm sure the doctors are familiar with this. They did a study to find out because people who are depressed says, I am in pain. They'll tell you that. I am in pain. Okay, so it's hard to understand that, right? What kind of pain? Just like it's really painful to be depressed. So they did a study and look at what parts of the brain, is triggered by that when they are depressed. Do you know they found out that it's the same part of the brain involved when they are actually physically hurt? When they're physically hurt, it's the same area of the brain that hurts when they are depressed. So when they say, I really am in pain, that pain is equivalent to a physical pain because it's the same part of the brain that is involved. Okay, so that's terrible, right? To feel that pain. They're not physically hurt, but the part of the brain involved in being physically hurt is involved in that pain, the pain of depression. So that's why they needed to medicate themselves. Okay? All right. Excessive or impulsive behavior, gambling, overeating, spending too much money, overworking, sexual compulsion, promiscuity. Those are high risk situations for relapse. Exhaustion or fatigue. Another. Unreasonable fears, excessive fears. Okay? Feeling helpless or hopeless. And finally, guilt. We have a saying in TC, guilt kills. Right? You have that? Yeah, that's the old TC saying. All right. Those are from Dennis Daly. High risk situation for relapse. Okay, questions? Comments? All right, we'll take a break here. All right, it's 2:45 and be back after 3:15. 3:15, ano yan? Oh, wow. Thank you. All right, 3:15, all right, guys?